never be anything where suddenly like, but the bottom of my foot costs $500. I was like, wow, we've gone far. We've gone
Mhm.
far.
Welcome back to Muse on the Mic. I'm Riley.
And I'm Emily. Thanks again, guys, for joining us on another great episode here at Muse on the Mic. Make sure you like, subscribe, all the good things. Comment down below if you got anything to add to this, because this one's a little juicy, it's a little spicy, and a little controversial.
hmm
Riley, what are we doing today?
Well, I mean, although the mission is to always normalize sex work or to break stigma, I think we need to recognize that there is an over glamorization of sex work. And let's face it,
Mhm.
it's not all yachts and Lambos and the perfect aesthetic. There is risk, and there's a lot more to it than just the fast cash that can be made.
It's true. And listen, it's interesting because the glamorization is almost exclusively done through media,
hmm
which now in the days is social media. Back
Yeah.
in the day it was like movies, magazines, stuff like that. And you can go all the way, listen, I'm sure you can go much further back, but like Pretty Woman was a
hmm
pretty glamorized view of what being a
Right.
streetwalker is, you know?
Yes.
Even the scenes they showed of her when she was actually working the street, it seemed nice and friendly-ish. And even when they tried to show like a bad guy, it was like
Yeah.
Hollywood bad guy. It wasn't like
hmm
real life bad guy. Like it was just, it was very dream sequence and fuzzy around the edges and like
hmm
softened so everyone can digest it easily and so
Yeah.
the public will be fine. Like it's so like watered down. There's other movies too. What was the J-Lo one?
Hustlers, I think.
Hustlers, right. Same thing. Made it seem like the strip club is just like clubbing every night and we just happen to be called strippers.
hmm
And like, like it really didn't showcase what can happen in a strip club. And that's not to say that everything needs to show the bad stuff. But
hmm
again, like, why does it have to be so shiny and so
hmm
perfect? And so, like, again, it's like sex, drugs, and rock and roll, or like Lambos, like you said. Like, everything's just like,
Yeah.
wee! And it's
Well,
like,
and I think you said it
no.
perfectly that social media or content creators are giving this like
Hmm.
skewed perception, really. Because I mean, you can take something like the newest, big thing of sex work is OnlyFans. And
Hmm.
you'll be able to scroll your news feed anytime and see girls talking about the six figures they make per month. And yes, that is true, but that's like the top 2%. The rest
Right.
of them, on average, from what I saw when I did a quick search, make about $200 per month. So
Yeah.
you have to have that reality. And I think as much as it's liberating to be able to say, I'm a sex worker, I think you really just have to have the proper scope. And what we're being fed right now really is over glamorizing the situation. And there is a lot of risk. There's a lot of mental health challenges that come along with it.
Yes.
That not that I want that to be the focus, because there is huge wins and huge successes, but it needs to be spoken about as well.
Absolutely. It's this weird kind of blend. And I don't want to say I blame things like OnlyFans, but
Mhm,
OnlyFans is representative of the blend. Because listen, there's vanilla pages on OnlyFans too. I know some chefs that teach classes,
mhm,
and just because it's a paywall, it's an easy site to use. That's how they use it, which is
mhm.
awesome. Like very cool.
Yeah,
I know people use Patreon the same way, although Patreon's not an adult platform and they do limit what you put even behind your paywall. Like you can't put your latest porno on there. But you can get away with definitely a lot more.
mhm,
I think you can show like titties and things on Patreon. Well, no, we know they can because of Hard and Soft Show and what
right,
Tahoe and Loon do on their great show, which check their show
right.
out too, guys. We love
hmm
to send people over to them because they're freaky and awesome.
hmm
I could talk about that for a while because their Instagram lately has had me shook.
I wasn't
But
paying
just in
attention.
in general, there's like this bleed over because there is eras and times through like pop culture where nobody talks about it.
Right.
And then when it almost becomes too front of mind, front of mouth, it's like, should this really be, dinner table conversation and coffee, the water cooler talk, coffee shop talk,
hmm
where you're scrolling, let's say Instagram looking for makeup techniques and you find out three new things about it, OnlyFans. Like
hmm
it's blending a little bit. It's blending into the pop culture. I think So say I was doing a bit of research last night. It's totally kind of like a side note, but I was doing research last night for one of my segments for the Sunday episode, Deep Throat. Go check
Okay.
out Sundays, guys. And it's about feet. And so I was doing a little Google and stuff. And then I was going to make a little joke in recording that I was thinking about. And then I thought,
Mhm.
wait a minute, feet pics aren't free. Fuck off. And then I thought, wait a minute, is that just how we are now? And it is how
Right.
we are because I was actually watching an episode of Shits and Gigs, yet another podcast that we love and near and dear. Go check them out. And James gets a bunch of messages and DMs all the time from girls that want pics of his feet. And he was just
Really?
openly talking about how he would never do porn, he would never put dick pics on there,
Hmm.
whatever. But if someone was like, let me say a picture of your big toe or your soles or something, he'd be like, this is price, this is how much it is. I think it's just common knowledge in society now that feet content costs money.
Right.
And no one says sex work. James wasn't like, I think I'll dip my foot into sex work by selling my foot. He was just like, oh yeah, feet pics. I would send this much and da 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 da. And I was like, oh, so that's
Hmm.
just the way it goes. And yet, as I was kind of planning and prepping for my episode, I was like, oh my God, I did the same thing.
Hmm.
Because listen, if anyone wants pictures of either our feet, we'll happily sell you some. They're not free. That's a because we are in 2025.
Right.
Exactly. And we all know, society knows that foot content ain't free. But the
Hmm.
fact that it's almost like a lack of acknowledgement of the sex work side of it. It's
Hmm.
kind of my beef with when people, especially OnlyFans girls, claim that they're not a sex worker and they're not
Hmm.
part of our community. And it's like, you wouldn't be there and be able to do what you're doing had it not been for the sacrifices and the backs of sex workers of years past and decades
Hmm.
past, because it's through all these fights and the activism and all the things that we even end up to situations where society can be accepting of a fact as
Hmm.
simple as feet cost money. And yet it should be common knowledge that titties cost money too. And yet people
Right.
don't talk about that. But because it's feet,
Hmm.
it's not a genital, that like it's suddenly just this common open, again, water cooler talk. There are grandmas that know that feet pics cost money. Like it's
Hmm.
just a thing. And so it does over glamorize it. And listen, there's definitely harms that can happen even in being a foot model. Like there's harms in all aspects of sex work, just like there's
Right.
huge benefits in all aspects of sex work. It's how you go about it, learning the ropes and trying to eliminate some of those risks. But to eliminate the entire like title of sex work altogether and just been like, oh, $20 for this or $500 for that. I
Hmm.
was like, so even
Why?
guys that would never be anything were suddenly like, but the bottom of my foot costs $500. I was like, wow, we've gone far. We've gone
Hmm.
far. And it can be dangerous when you glamorize it that way.
I think it's gone so far that I think not that I want the only sex workers to go into, sorry, for the only people to go into sex work that are from economic depression of some sort, but that
Yeah,
tends to be what happens. But the way
for
things
sure.
are being over glamorized now, I get concerned, and I say this from a point of being pro sex work and being a mother of a daughter. I don't
Right.
think young girls should be consuming this content and aspire to be a sex worker. And I don't
Yeah.
know if someone will come at me for that because, given my position, maybe I should say there's nothing wrong with that. But that's my mama bear side. I hope my daughter doesn't aspire to be a sex worker. However, if she does, I would support her in that. But
Right.
it looks so glamorous. It looks so easy. And I mean, it's
Right.
God-given tools. They're right on us. We don't need education. It's here, it's ready to make money. And I
Yeah.
think it's easy to fall into that trap, not recognizing the harms that may come along with sex work because there's actual real life danger of being a sex worker. And that's not
Absolutely.
going anywhere. As much as things might get better or there might be some sort of law reform, it's never going to be eliminated completely.
Mm-mm. Mm-mm. It's just nature of the beast. I mean,
Mhm.
just like construction will always have bodily harm risks. There's
Right.
just listen, a lot of sex work has bodily harm risks too. It's
Hmm.
just it's just a nature of the industry and of the job. Um, and when we take away, listen, even on the pod, we haven't like gone deep into some of the dark sides or like the scariest moments and things like that. And maybe
Hmm.
we will. I think they would be interesting episodes. I think we're also a little bit I don't want to say we're superstitious, but we both believe in the energy you put out. And if we keep
Right.
talking about negative, will that bring more negative? Like I would just hate to
Right.
trigger something. But again, even with the podcast, we never want to over glamorize it. We never want to
Mhm.
over like shine it so that it seems like it's this sparkly thing that's always fantastic. Because a bad day in sex work is a really horrible day
Mhm.
for life. Like and in sex work that could mean your life. Like it
Right.
could be privacy wise, it means your life. It could be physical harm, your life. Like it literally is life and death for many scenarios. And I think not that every young worker is clueless. There are definitely people with old souls and a sharp wit
Mhm.
and they come in with some and they get it right away and those kind of things. But when you're new, no matter what age you're at, when you're new, you're more vulnerable. When you
Mhm.
are younger, you are more vulnerable. You're more easily coerced. You're more easily manipulated. You're more easily, afraid of what your rights are and unknowledgeable sometimes about things that could help you get in and out of a situation. It's why we prefer, new girls. I love if every new girl in the massage parlor industry could start at Muse because
Yeah.
we know that they'll have proper training, safety, new friends, a really
Yeah.
supportive environment that is not guaranteed at any other parlor in the city. I would press to say in most of the country. There are a couple good
Mhm.
places that we know even the girls are really tight, but it's not in Ontario. Oh no, they are in
Mhm.
Ontario. They're not in Toronto or the GTA. And like it's few and far between, which is unfortunate, which is also why we opened Muse, because what the
Mhm.
fuck? Why can't it always be better? But exactly that. Why can't it always be better? And so
Mhm.
can we not start off people that are just, venturing again, whether they're 34 or 19, let's get them started and support them with the tools. And that includes a lot of our training is about safety. As much
Mhm.
as guys think it's all like, who can I be the guy for training? It's like you don't
Right.
want to hear half what we talk about because we do have to bring up the shitty things and we do have to
Mhm.
tell them about how to get in and out of those scenarios or what we do as a company to eliminate that even from their job experience. But to acknowledge it. We still acknowledge things that may not happen in Muse, right?
Mhm.
Like all inclusive pricing means a girl doesn't get ripped off at the end of her session because he pays the full price up front. But we mention that so they at least
Right.
know that that was a thing. There is places like that, and sex work is risky. Like it's important that we never glaze it over too much or make it too shiny and sparkly. A bad day in a rub and tug in a strip club for an indie worker or a touring escort who's in a new country, maybe doesn't know the language. Like there's risks left, right, and center. When I
Mhm.
see guys on Twitter complaining to indie escorts about their screening procedures, it makes me want to take everybody in the whole internet and just shake it around. Because are you
Right.
kidding me? These are women putting their lives on the line every single day. And you're like,
Mhm.
it doesn't turn me on. It's inconvenient for me. And it's like, bro, bro,
Yeah.
put your penis and your life on the line and then come at me with that because
Mhm.
it's absolutely nonsense. And that's the problem with the over glamorization is those aspects end up going more and more into the shadows, which is
Mhm.
one of the biggest problems with sex work. When it's in the shadows, when the bad parts are hidden, is when more and more danger comes. And these poor girls, even if you're only online,
Mhm.
you become a famous face. You become recognizable in public. Ask
Mhm.
any celebrity that's had a crazy stalker how that turns out. Ask any sex worker what a crazy stalker
Mhm.
ends up like. And like there are safety procedures that when you're just starting, you're 18, 19, 20,
Yeah.
all you see all these other girls on TikTok doing it and you dive in. Well, you haven't had those years of experience or those trial and errors. Unfortunately, it takes a lot
Yeah.
of error to learn
It
these
does.
lessons. And you may not know how to recognize that scam in a DM or a
Mhm.
client that's been banned from every escort agency in the city and now can only target indie workers.
Right.
Like you may not be part of the websites and the secret messaging boards and stuff where workers put bad clients and bad johns on there and announce when someone's been bad. I mean, we have circles where those
Right.
photos and messages and stories get shared around. It's probably the one thing that we're really friendly with other owners about and
Mhm.
vice versa is because let's just keep everybody safe, right? It's it's scary. I don't have kids, but I feel that maternal fear because I just want to protect
Mhm.
them and cuddle them and take them all in and be like, no, 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 there's bad things out there. Let us at least give you armor. Let us at least
Mhm.
give you some education and equipment before you're out there so you can have, your steel skin and your persona that kind of protects you as a
Yeah.
woman and who you are in your real life, your authentic self,
Mhm.
from all that harm. And yet we can never protect them from everything. And
Yeah.
it's crazy. I wish,
Yeah.
I wish.
You want to go deeper? You want to go all the way? Let's go deep throat. Hello, all my naughty patrons. Welcome back to another episode of Deep Throat. And we are diving deep into mileage today. Now, obviously, I'm going to be talking about massage parlors mostly, but I think across the board, some of these little tips and information will absolutely help you with any sex worker. So, mileage like a pro. What does that even mean? Am I talking about the attendant? Am I putting an onus on you? Kind of both, right? I want you to be able to participate and do all the moves and tricks and tips that get you the mileage you want. Whether it's high mileage, low mileage, or anything in between, let's get you the things you love and let's ditch the things you don't. And I think the start of that starts with finding the right attendant, the right sex worker, the right girl for you, someone who may be into the things that you're into. Obviously, that makes it more fun, even in a personal situation. So obviously that would apply to the sex worker as well. And how that can happen the best is through a referral. At any point, you can ask us, you can call front desk, you can ask your favorite muse or any other girls, is there someone you recommend for this? Or if you're not into this, who on your team is best? And listen, I keep lists of these things. I can make you a recommendation like that. So we want to be able to do that and provide that as kind of a matchmaking service for you. And although we can never guarantee mileage because it's really her decision, we can definitely up your odds and improve your chances of getting exactly the muse experience you want. So when I say mileage like a pro, what does that even mean? Now, I think when it comes to attendance, there are mileage givers and mileage freaks. And so what does that mean? I think mileage givers are girls that are open to higher mileage or certain activities. If she is totally cool with people going down on her, then she's going to give that as part of her mileage. So that kind of girl, she's laying back, she's letting you pleasure her, and you are like back in your high school or college days, just loving life between the legs, just enjoying the feast. You like that? You want more? Subscribe to the Patreon and I'll take you deep throat.
And I think any sex worker at times deals with mental health struggles. I think it's a
Yes.
difficult job, especially if you're doing it right. If you're really investing yourself and like having empathy and connecting with clients, that can be very difficult for an individual. And as long as that's part of the conversation too, then fair. Like I just, again, I don't want it to be everything is shiny and stacks of cash, right?
Right.
And I think,
I mean, there's so
even with,
many.
sorry,
Go,
even
go.
with the OnlyFans girls, for example, again, this is an in-person sex work. Maybe it isn't as difficult, but do they talk about the hours that must be involved to be one of those top 2%? Because I'll tell you, I've never done OnlyFans, but just from my experience from the podcast, it's
Mm-hmm.
hours of your life. So, and our work is split three ways. It's myself, Emily, and our editor. So, I mean, to be successful, again, let that be the conversation of, yes, you can make this, but I dedicate 72 hours per week and spend this much in outfits and this much in self-care. Have that be part of the conversation, because if we're just showing the pretty stuff, it's just so misleading.
I mean, I think influencer life really clouds that side of it. I
Mhm.
would say the same probably for big gamers, big YouTubers, anyone that runs a big channel of any kind. We were floored at how much work the podcast took.
Mhm.
And so running an OnlyFans is in many respects exactly the same. You have to create content, you have to maintain a consistent schedule, you need to
Edit.
communicate with your fans, you need to answer all your fan letters, emails,
Yeah.
questions, inquiries. There's accounting to do. There's days where we record and the damn thing doesn't record. We have had a
Mhm.
few of those recently and wanted to A, scream, B, cry, and C, run away. Because what
Mhm.
the actual, you spend hours under the lights and the things and planning and prepping. and then also plan, okay, tomorrow I'm going to need to edit this, and tomorrow I'm going to need to do this to promote it. And your whole week's planned out, and then something
Hmm.
gets fucked up and it's all upside down.
Yeah.
A lot of OnlyFans make content with other people as well. We've seen some of those gangbang girls lately. There's regular sex workers that just film some of their content and use that on OnlyFans. There are male sex workers that trade off with girl sex workers and they
Right.
create co-content.
Hmm.
And all the things. Content is just the thing. Making and producing and putting out content through marketing is 3 full-time jobs all at once.
Hmm.
And like, God love us, also running an entire corporation, plus all the side stuff that we do personally. Like, it's just, and you're a mom. Like, no wonder you never have time. When I'm like, can we just go to a patio? And you're like, in November. It's July,
It's not that bad, but you're
crazy.
right though.
It's not that
It's
bad. It's
hours of
September.
life. I want to see, because listen, I follow some of these girls on TikTok. I find it
Mhm,
fascinating.
for sure.
The conversations I have to myself is, oh, if I only knew this when I was younger.
Right.
Like, I get it. It is extremely appealing even to me, but I want to find one that's like, and if I ever find it, I'll link it somehow in one of our episodes. But someone that gives
Awesome.
like true content. Because one of the girls I love so much, and I can't remember her name, she does her money counts. And I love watching
Okay.
money counts. It's a huge turn on for me. You know how much I get aroused by money.
Same.
And but did she also make a video showing the bad client that she had that night, the booking that got
Right.
canceled, the EMT that got returned? Like, if there was someone just a little more realistic, I would be all for it.
Well, hop on over to Sex Work Twitter,
Hmm.
because I often wish Twitter had more video format
Right.
than story format in that
Hmm.
sense. But every single day between the spa, my personal, my Emily, and the podcast, I see stories every single day about both the good and the bad. I see
Yeah.
extremes. There's definitely some middle stuff,
Hmm.
um, but there's also a couple really, I wouldn't say they're influencers, but they have big platforms. They're
Hmm.
escorts, they tour the world, so they're kind of global market as opposed to like niche or local. So they have more audience, I guess, which is why I see them so much. They seem like great women. They've got a good like quip,
Hmm.
good humor. I love all that kind of stuff. If you could be snippy, snarky, and funny in a tweet, you're my kind of people. But a lot of them do share their stuff.
Yeah.
There's an escort I follow actually that's local. It works for an agency here, that was just left with a bunch of marks after a session she had last night. And she was kind of, I guess, just venting while she was tweeting about it. And I messaged her privately as well, but I kind of engaged in the conversation, read a bunch of the replies. And, girls at first were like, sending love, hope that, you have a good rest of the night. And like dudes were like, that's bullshit. Guys would never do that. But then people started to ask questions, and
Right.
from that ended up answers, and like it really dives into the question and the conversation at that point. And I think those kind of conversations need to happen. I
Hmm.
can even imagine maybe the tendency would be you wake up the next day and be like, fuck, I'm just going to delete all those tweets. But please don't,
Right.
because you don't need to go back and remember it. Obviously, you're not going to look on that fondly, but at the same time, other people will see it. People like me, people like regular Joe Schmoes and Jane Does will see it and maybe learn something
Hmm.
or consider something they never thought of before and thought, oh my God, I was thinking it was foolproof to work with an
Hmm.
agency. Well, it's not, right? There's
Right.
nothing foolproof. It's just about constantly tweaking your procedures. I gave shit to a client that I know. He doesn't come to Muse because he lives out of like way out of town, like 6 hours type thing out of town.
Okay.
Um, but still sees like indie girls that kind of go away to the outskirts of like way past the GTA even.
Hmm.
Um, and he was bitching about someone's screening procedures. And he's like, when I contact an escort, it's because I'm horny and I'm aroused and I just want to book. And when you come at me with all these business procedures, it takes away my fun. And I was like,
Right.
you. That's crazy
Hmm.
town to me, because A, you pay for fun with a sex
Hmm.
worker, just like you don't go in and sample the food of a chef. Give me a fucking break.
Right.
You go in and you buy a meal if you want to try his food. That's madness to me. I was like, but listen, we like to keep the fantasy alive. I think we never need to be too secretarial or too
Mhm.
like, hello, Mr. So and so. Nice to see you today. Your appointment is that like we're still flirty and fun and all the
Right.
things. Look how we talk on the pod, right? But there's business and there's not. And if you're not
Mhm.
paying, we're not sitting here to tickle your testicles just for fun. And if her booking procedure makes you lose a bit of boner, see someone else.
Right.
Like it's
Yeah.
really that simple. I was like, what you need to consider is that she got to these restrictions, rules, procedures, processes because something bad happened.
She needs them.
You you literally don't decide I'm no longer seeing people without a deposit first, without, me at least
Yeah.
knowing that you have a LinkedIn account and you're a legit person. Like there are
Mhm.
various screenings procedures. Some are very intensive, some are not. Some guys are fine with it, some are not. Find your people. And
Yeah.
and don't ever complain at a sex worker that her requirements for her own safety is too much for your boner. I was
Mhm.
like, first of all, you're going to get sex workers hating you
Right.
because my immediate thought is, ugh, and I just want to punch you in the nose because what are you actually saying? And yet, between the two of us, I'm usually one that takes the penis side, and I'm usually like, oh, I
Right.
could imagine my dick will be hard. Now, the pictures look good. And I'd be like, are you available? Like, I'd be that guy. I'd
Yeah.
be like half beaten off while it's happening. I get it. And if suddenly she was like, please send your identification and please do this and please do that, I'd be like, eh. But at the same time, am I going to sit around for 4 years, drooling over her website, sending
Right.
her DMs, wondering why she doesn't answer me,
Mhm.
lusting over this girl, and then be miserable when she finally retires and I never got the chance? Like,
Right.
bro, you have to pick your battles in all things in life.
Mhm.
And if that means you want to see Susie Q, then you follow what her website says to see her. And if she
Yeah.
doesn't like it or you don't like it, then find Jane Doe. Like
Yeah.
literally just go find someone else. The fact that someone was pushing someone when I was like, do you realize this is safety based? Like, if you want someone that does something bareback and they don't do
Right.
it, you can try to be the guy that's like, come on, please, I'll pay you extra. Whether she says no or not, first of all, she should say no. But whether she does or not, that's between her and her vagina. That's her decision. But a safety thing like physical assault or knowing who you're with, if you're flying to a country to meet a person you've never
Right.
met before, like, give me a break, buddy. Like,
Yeah.
it's could you imagine? Oh, fly with me to Morocco, but you can't know my last name.
No, thank you.
Huh? What? You're booking my flight. You're going to see my passport. Are you out of your mind? Like,
Right.
it blew my brains. And I thought, are we really glamorizing things so much that even for the guys are
Mhm.
losing touch with the reality? Because if you're
Yeah.
just a subscriber on OnlyFans, or you're just the guy that sees one of your favorite people in public and tries to go do that whole invasive talk to her thing, well, but I'm just a guy. I've been subscribed since the beginning. Like,
Mhm.
she's not really Julie. Like, leave her
Right.
alone. She's at the community fair with her child. Like, stop
Mhm.
it. Tell your penis to relax. And I'm
Yeah.
not one to say that to penises like ever. But that's like the one time I'm like, chill pill. Seriously.
Mhm.
Because
Yeah.
it can look so fuzzy and glamorous. She's so beautiful. You just want to talk to her. You feel like you know her because of a
Mhm.
screen, which is way different than intimate in person sex
Yeah.
work where you do get to know each other. But even this guy was like, have you ever booked her before? So you've never met her before. And you're just mad she won't answer your DMs and you refuse to go through her website to book her because you don't like her safety screening. This
Right.
is way
Move
too
on.
fuzzy. This is not Hollywood. Like,
Mhm.
let's get back to reality. And that scares me because online, do you know the risks of in person? Because you will be
Right.
recognized in person. You will have moments in person where someone thinks they've memorized your vagina. So
Mhm.
what do you mean you don't know me? I'm your biggest subscriber. I send you the biggest. I'm John Doe 67, and what you're looking at me like, "Ugh, I'm in public with my husband," and like it gets so foggy,
Yeah.
and I feel like that can create stalker situations immediately. Like it can increase almost the risks
Yeah.
of the safety stuff that is being glazed over in the first place. It's a
Mhm.
vicious cycle when you think about it that way.
Mhm.
It can actually be
Well,
pretty
I
dangerous.
wish I wish more of our viewers were women, because really this
Yes.
episode is kind of speaking to them that just look a little
Mm,
deeper and
yeah.
don't stick on surface level. But I mean, on the bright side, sex work is heading into the direction of being normalized, really, if it is so much
Yeah,
in pop culture, and social media. So that is a plus. We're just talking about the one little negative to it, but just be aware. Sex work is not as glamorous and as easy as it seems.
absolutely. It's one thing when you decide when you're 19. It's another thing
Yeah,
if you're 15, hoping and praying that soon, and you're
I
counting the
know, but
birthdays
I
until.
worry that's what it is.
Absolutely. Absolutely. Um, I would say specifically like Snapchat, TikTok scare me for that. I feel like other
Mhm.
platforms are a little more age strict. Um,
Mhm.
but even the amount of people see their first porn on Snapchat, let
Right.
alone anything else. Like it can,
Hmm.
I think it would be the easiest place to be deceived into like pimp situations and things like that too.
Hmm.
Because again, you're green as could be.
Hmm.
The messages disappear really quickly. Like there's a lot of shit. I've never been a fan of Snapchat for that reason. I find it all really sneaky.
Hmm.
So a lot of predators enjoy that platform for that reason, but it appeals to a younger crowd. Like
Hmm.
Snapchat, TikTok, I mean, TikTok, especially when it first started, it was where teenagers did little
Hmm.
dances. And like, it wasn't even teen, it was preteens and like teeny boppers were just like bopping around. And now it's definitely different, but we glamorize everything on TikTok.
Yeah.
You be cook and fuck up your dish, and you're still like, look, it's perfect because you've
Right.
remade the whole thing and hid the burnt part. Like there's just illusion and
Hmm.
disillusionment everywhere with those kind of things. And you're right, for the younger, especially that volatile, like I'm almost legal. I just got my license. When can I drink? When can I hook? That's terrifying. That's
Hmm.
terrifying.
Hmm.
Dude, that's terrifying. I don't like it.
I agree.
Ugh. Listen, there's hypocritical sides to sex work too, and here we are because
Hmm.
exactly what you said. We want it destigmatized and made normal, but there's still a time and a place, just like
Hmm.
our zoning puts us in a specific place.
Yeah.
I think there should be a time and a place for those things,
Yeah.
and there needs to be a space made for the real talk. I absolutely agree with you.
Yeah.
And these sex workers, if you're listening, make that page. It would be
Yes,
really
we'll follow
popular
you.
in our community. Yeah, it really would. And yeah, and follow Riley for sure. I love it. Listen, your algorithm just heard you say that. It's going to show it to you if it
Yeah.
exists.
Good.
Well, I think that's it, but such an important topic. I'm sure it'll come up again in other
Hmm.
episodes because society moves at a blistering pace
Yeah.
nowadays. And before we think that, 1,000 gangbang is the most thing ever, it's going to be a million or something. And that'll be like, they want to what? Who? And
Yeah.
perfect examples there because the mental health toll was
Yeah.
legit for months afterwards for
Yeah.
some of those girls. So find a mentor. Find a
Yeah.
mentor, especially if you're on social media and maybe you're a bit isolated or don't have a friend to talk to. Find people like us on the internet and reach out because some good guidance, some wise advice can really make or break, especially your safety in this
Yeah.
industry.
I agree.
Yeah. Well, guys, I hope you enjoyed this one. I hope you learned a little bit and how to kind of look at these things a little bit
Hmm.
differently. And if you find yourself in a situation, either with us or the public, open the conversation, have those conversations, talk about the good, the bad, and the ugly, because I think everybody needs to know what they're getting into.
Yep.
Well,
Always the
thanks, Rye.
truth.
This was a good one. This
Yeah.
is a good topic. I liked it. Make sure, guys, you like, subscribe, follow us on social media. It's all in the caption below. And we'll see you next time on Muse on the Mic. Bye,
Bye,
guys.
guys.